Hello, hello. No, the title is not clickbait. That one character, Cartethyia, she alone is the honored one. She alone made me hit the uninstall button for Genshin. I'm gonna be very honest. It was a very cathartic moment. It was like I just came off 15 years of crack cocaine. It was like having sex for the first time after 20 years. It was great. I'm just playing. But no, legit. Alright, so Kuro Games decided to power creep the leakers of the gacha community and just straight up leak their own shit with Cartethyia with her animations. And I'm gonna be real. They did it in probably the best way possible. They got Jeff Keighley, the fucking dude who does the Game Awards, to leak the shit. And it was probably a very smart marketing move. I'm gonna be honest. That shit got waves, bro. I think they got IGN to do it as well, but I'm gonna be real. I don't think anybody gives a fuck about IGN anymore. But hey, still, they got big names to drop that video, and then it was fucking crazy. It went everywhere. And that one video, it made Gacha Twitter lose their shit. You know what I mean? You had the Genshin community being like, well, it's not that great, whatever. We have Skirk, and then everybody else was like, yeah, Skirk is kind of trash. You know what I mean? And Cartethyia basically made me realize, like, damn, like, and it wasn't even just Cartethyia, like, it was basically a build-up. It was a slow build-up, because I was getting to that point already where I was like, I'm probably gonna uninstall Genshin soon, right? I think Cartethyia was kind of just like this straw that broke the camel's back, because I'm gonna be real, right? I'm gonna be very honest, right? When they leaks, like, Skirk's animation got leaked like what, 2-3 days before Cartethyia, and at the time, basically you had the reactions you would expect, right? The Genshin players were like, oh my god, this is fantastic, and then everybody else was like, yeah, this is dog shit. And you know what I mean? So it was like, yeah, the reactions that you would expect, right? Now, me personally, like, now, while I never thought that Skirk was like the second coming of Jesus Christ, like the way these Genshin players want to make it seem, at the same time, I really didn't think they were that bad. Like, everybody was saying it was dog shit, and I was sitting there thinking, like, I was legit sitting there thinking to myself, like, am I a mindless consumer? Because I'm looking at the animations, I'm sitting there like, is it really that bad? Like, am I just a mindless consumer? Because I'm looking at the animations and her alt animation, I'm just like, am I just easy? Is that what it is? I think I'm just easy, because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like mind blowing. I was sitting there like with my jaw on the floor, but I was like, is it really that bad? Like, I was like, am I just easy? And honestly, yeah, I am. I'm not even gonna lie, yeah, I'm kind of easy. Like, because here's the thing, right? Something about me is I really don't care about like animations or graphic fidelity or like things like that. I really don't care about how something looks, right? I really don't. I care more about substance, which, after me saying that, you're probably thinking, well, why the fuck are you playing Genshin? Well, I'll get to that, but yeah, I care more about substance, right? Like, I have a PS2 emulator on my fucking PC, and I just I'll load up Kingdom Hearts 2 right now. I'll have a blast. I'll load up Jak and Daxter, fucking Medal of Honor. You know what I mean? I don't care how something looks. I just, as long as it's fun, I don't care. Like, even with Cartethyia, right? She looks fucking amazing. But if in combat I don't have fun with her, she's going to the fucking bin. You know what I mean? That's just how I am. And so that probably put me more into the position of like not really seeing how bad her animations were. And even still now, like, even though I've come to a realization, I've come to the epiphany that I have, even now, I still do think her animations are kind of overrated a little bit, but at the same time, I think the Genshin players are like busting their nuts too hard to this to Skirk a little bit. But that whole situation maybe takes it back and was like, am I a mindless consumer? Is that really what's going on right now? And I came to a realization, right? Because one of the biggest criticisms I have with the Wuthering Waves community is I genuinely think, I'll probably make a video on this, but I genuinely think that they kind of disillusion themselves to how good Wuthering Waves actually is. Like, don't be wrong. Wuthering Waves is objectively very fucking good, but it's not perfect. It has flaws, and I think a lot of people in the Wuthering Waves community have disillusioned themselves to believe certain things that about Wuthering Waves that either isn't true or just that isn't true or isn't or is actually true. You know what I mean? Like I genuinely, this, hey, hot take, genuinely, I don't think Wuthering Waves is that much I genuinely don't think Wuthering Waves is that much more generous than Genshin. Like, I genuinely think Wuthering Waves is maybe not as predatory, but not like it might not be as predatory, but like it's still pretty close. Like, I don't think Wuthering Waves is that generous. You know what I mean? And like, the reason why I feel that way is because literally, if you compare Wuthering Waves to Punishing Gray Raven, its predecessor, and you look at how Punishing Gray Raven is monetized and how easy it is to get so much shit without the devs having to give it to you, right? I think Wuthering Waves has regressed in a lot of ways if you compare Wuthering Waves to Punishing Gray Raven in terms of like player first, gotcha second. You know what I mean? I think people are disillusioned themselves to that because they only compare it to Genshin, right? So that was like one of my biggest criticisms when it comes to the Wuthering Waves community. But then I realized, like, fucking Genshin does that shit too. They in fact Genshin's worse because they instead of bitching to the way about how bad their game is, they'll look at other games and be like, no, your game is just as bad as our game, so you shouldn't complain. And it's like, brother, why don't you take that vitriol that you're aiming to like these other communities to the actual devs to tell them to fix your fucking game? Like, you know what I mean? But it's like it is what it is, right? But that I came to that realization because like even with like Honkai Star and Zenless Zone Zero, right? Like Honkai Star, as bad and as trash as the game is right now, credit where credit's due, they have really good character designs, and Casterus, I'll be real, Casterus ulti animation is just as good. Arguably, I think someone could argue that it's better than Cartethyia, right? Like Casterus, like that animation with Casterus and the fucking drag, cutting a slice through space and time for a zombie dragon to come out, brother, that shit that's quality. It is. And then even Zenless Zone Zero, like I saw the Yishuan leaks, right? Not on purpose, but like if you're on Gacha Twitter, as soon as leaks come out, you can't escape it. So it's like the only way you can escape leaks is you just don't go on Twitter, like straight up. But I saw the Yishuan leaks for her character, and like, brother, while her ult animation probably isn't as good as Cartethyia, I think her attack animations absolutely claps Cartethyia. Her attack animations, brother, I think she absolutely claps Cartethyia in terms of attack animations. But you know, it's like even with like within the Hoyo games, right? These people, like, they don't compare it to anything else other than Wuthering Waves, like to even its own like community with Zenless Zone Zero and Honkai Star, right? And Honkai Star might be a bit of a reach since it's turn based, but even still, like with Zenless Zone Zero, you can still compare those two, and it sucks, right? It's like why? It's like with Genshin and Wuthering Waves, it's like one gigantic dick measuring contest about whose slot machine is better. And honestly, it's Wuthering Waves, obviously, but it kind of puts the two communities at odds for things that it really don't matter. But and I'll be real, let's be fair, I think that's mostly the Genshin community's fault. Well, but I'd say at the same time, I do think the Wuthers community does get up their own ass a little too much sometimes. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that whole situation made me maybe self-reflect. I'm like, okay, so the Genshin community is obviously worse than the Wuthering Waves community. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, so I had to sit there and think to myself, why do I actually log into Genshin? If I care more about substance, why do I actually log into Genshin? Right? Why do I log in? Like, why do I fucking play this game? And, you know, shocker, you know, as, you know, every other Genshin player would say, it's the story. I do. You know, like it or not, I don't, if you have a problem with that, I don't know, fucking go see therapy. I don't see why you care that much. But yeah, that's the truth. I like the story. I like Genshin's overarching story and lore, in comparison to Wuthering Waves. But I sat there and thought to myself, like, why do I play? Like, that's the only thing that I like about Genshin, right? Like, the combat, absolutely not. The combat was killed for me the moment Zenless Zone Zero came out. I prefer Zenless Zone Zero's combat over Wuthering Waves because I can't do the fucking swap back, car cancel bullshit. I can't do that shit. Like, fucking the quick swap is just too much for me. I can't fucking do that shit. That's why I'm actually waiting for the negative statuses for Wuthering Waves, so that hopefully the dots kind of give me a new way to play the game. But yeah, the Wuthering Waves is endless killed the combat for me in Genshin, and the exploration. Let's be real, it was never that good to begin with. But then Wuthering Waves, especially with the flying, it was like, wow, at that point, why even log in? You know what I mean? So it's like, I still prefer the story. Is like, I could just watch the story on YouTube. And honestly, I think that's the play, even for Honkai Star Rail. Because like, even if you like the story for Honkai Star Rail, you just watch it on YouTube straight up. Like, I feel like that's the play. So I'm just like, okay, this aspect of the game that I like, I don't even need to log in to enjoy it. So it's like, at that point, why even have it on my computer? So I was like, all right, I gave that realization. I was like, fuck it, I'll just uninstall, right? And the reason, and it's not even like I uninstalled Genshin to substitute Genshin for Wuthering Waves, because the reality is I play Wuthering Waves probably about just as much as I play Genshin, which really isn't that much. I'll play like, maybe I log in like, well, recently because of the events, I logged in a lot more recently, but before the anniversary, I logged in like once or twice a week, if that, maybe once every 2 weeks, like if that. But yeah, it's just like, but Wuthering Waves at least has things for me to log into, for me to log in for me to do. Whereas with Genshin, it's just like, I log in for like 5 minutes to try to find something to do. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. And I just log out. And yeah, it's like at this point now where it's like, why even have it on my computer? You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it's not that big a deal. I don't really care that much. I just uninstalled it. Yeah, just makes more space for new games. I'm planning to get Claire Obscure Expedition really soon. Doom the Dark Ages comes out in like 2-3 days. I'm gonna fucking no life that game. It's gonna be amazing. And yeah, so right now the only gacha games I'm playing right now are like ZZZ and Punishing Gray Raven, and then Wuthering Waves from time to time. Like that's really my rotation right now. I think Ananta, when Ananta comes out, Ananta is probably my most hyped gacha game right now. I'm most excited for that game. If that game is really good, that might replace Wuthering Waves for me. But yeah, that's basically where I'm at now. But like, what can Genshin, like, that leaves the question, like, what can Genshin do to actually bring its players back? I'm gonna be real. There was a period of time where I genuinely thought that the only thing they really need to do to bring back a good chunk of their playbase was to fix the storytelling, and then I think people will come back and enjoy the story of Genshin. But honestly, bro, they need to pull a Blizzard and do a Genshin Impact 2. Straight up, they need to do a whole ass relaunch of the game. Like Zenless Zone Zero did it with 1.4, and honestly, they're kind of doing it again with 2.0. And then Wuthering Waves did it with 2.0. You know what I mean? They need to do a relaunch of the game. They need to do a hard relaunch of the game. Genshin Impact 2, they need to overhaul everything. They need to overhaul every single mechanic. They need to overhaul all the characters. They need to overhaul the animations. They need to do a whole ass, like, they basically just need to make a new game. Straight up, they do. And are they gonna do it? Let's be real, no, they're not. The game makes $30 to $50 million a month. Why the fuck would they? Like Genshin Impact, legitimately, Genshin Impact is like a shareholder's dream. Low investment, high reward. Why the fuck would they change that? Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's just where it is right now. So that's it sucks because Genshin was the game that kind of kept me really entertained during COVID. You know what I mean? Like, not to get sentimental, but it was definitely the highlight of most of my days when I would play Genshin when life kind of fucking sucked during COVID. But yeah, times change, things move on, people move forward, the earth keeps spinning, and Genshin is like the grandpa that refuses to learn the new technology because they want to stay with their old techniques because that's what worked back in their day. So it's like, yeah, at this point, fuck it.